Hey everybody, Grandmaster Ben Feingold here. I got home about a week ago from St. Louis. If you go to the St. Louis Chess Club YouTube page, they put a video of me up every couple of days. I made about 10 to 12 videos when I was there. I was the resident Grandmaster from June 10th to June 30th. And I guess I made a video like every other day or so, a couple on Sunday. Although the Sunday ones were recorded differently, so they're using different software, and I don't know if any of those are up yet. So anyway, the last 10 days when you haven't seen any videos of me here, if you go to the St. Louis Chess Club website, you'll see lots of videos of me. Okay, so, and some people like those videos better than these because they're professionally recorded and there's an audience and they last slightly longer. I'm not sure if that's better. Today I want to talk about Underpromotion and specifically Nakamura because he has two famous Underpromotion games, one you know and one you don't know. The one you don't know we're going to start out first, where Naka's the hero. The U.S. was playing Russia in the Olympiad, I believe it was 2012, and somehow we won. Nakamura beat Kramnik. I believe Kamsky beat Grishuk with black. Ray Robson probably lost. That sounds like something he would do. I'm not sure who he lost to, but some Russian guy. And we drew. I don't know who drew. Sounds like something Onishuk or Kobe would do. Okay, well, kids came home, so it's going to be noisy. All right, so anyway, this is really long, complicated game that Naka had with Kramnik. I think Kramnik was better when the opening ended for much of the game, and then Nakamura took over and had a big advantage throughout. And it was a really crazy game, which I think would help Naka more than Kramnik. Okay, so in this position, Nakamura found a really nice win. He played the move. Well, I think he played a move. Played rook takes rook on e7. And after takes, he played c7. And the c8 square is protected by the bishop on h3. So it looks like it's over. But actually, black has a really nice drawing resource, which doesn't quite work, but almost works. It would probably work against a very high percentage of people. He played the move e2. And the idea behind e2, obviously, black's threatening everything. e1 queen, and e takes d1 equals queen check, winning. And the idea behind this move is if you take the pawn, then f3 check, never play f3. And the next move, we play bishop takes c7, so it's a dead draw. Okay, and that looks like what's going to happen, but since you know the title of this video, and some of you have probably seen the game, Nakamura here made the only winning move, which ensured the U.S. would win the match against Russia. He played the c8 equals knight check. So, sort of as Zwischenzug before he takes the pawn on e2, he's putting black in check and takes the pawn. Those pawns should be relatively easy to win, the d2 and f4 pawns. And even if he trades the knight for the bishop, he'll have bishop and knight against king, which for, I guess, 99% of grandmasters is very easy, and for 100% of grandmasters rated over 2650 FIDE. Okay, and even some of you can do it. Okay, so the game continued, of course. You wouldn't resign here. And Naka had to, get his pieces active and get those pawns, which... well, there's not really a hurry. Those pawns aren't going anywhere. Okay, he took one of them. He blocked the other one. And the rest of the game wasn't too interesting. It's just a question of winning the f-pawn and not stalemating his opponent. Now here, he played knight e5. I guess he could take on f4, which, if black didn't have a bishop, would be stalemate. But, okay, he played here. Knight check. And he's just fooling around a little bit. And actually, black's king is in a pretty bad mating net here. It's getting close to checkmate. With three pieces, you can really checkmate your opponent. And Naka's not taking the pawn, because he wants to play for checkmate. So he's making sure there's no stalemate. And after knight h4, black resigned. And actually, I'm not using the engine, but I think it's a very quick mate, because I'm going to play knight f3 check next move, no matter what you do. Well, if you play king h1, it won't be check. And then I'll play bishop h3, bishop g2. I don't see how to stop this. I go here, I go here, I go here. Those are my next three moves, irrespective of what you do. I don't see what you're going to do about that. It's funny because when I take the pawn on f3 and your king is on h1, you're in stalemate, but you have a bishop on b6. So anyway, that was a very important victory for the U.S., and that was the only move that won was promoting to a knight with check. And I remember at the time it was surprising because we weren't the favorites that match. And Nakamura being Kramnik. Nakamura has a lot of decisive games with Kramnik. He wins and loses a lot. Sort of like with Aronian also. I think Aronian has a good score against Naka. But Kamsky winning against Grishuk, and this was, Kamsky wasn't the Kamsky of the 90s and early 2000s. This was, got us a few years past his prime, and Grishuk was in his prime in 2012. So that was surprising that Gata won with black. Basically, Gata won a drawn endgame, which, he's done many times. So that was a great victory, and that's why the game's sort of memorable. It was an Olympiad against Russia. Okay, now I have another game I want to show you, if I could find it, which I can't. Okay, and then I have to do lots of work, because I'm a workaholic. I'm some kind of a holic. Okay, so this is a more famous game, because it just happened, and probably in 10 years they'll be equally famous. This was Nakamura underpromoting because he's being silly, because it's a blitz game. But, 99% of the time when you're playing blitz, maybe more, the games aren't very important. You're playing on the internet, you're playing for fun, you're playing blitz. So you can be a little silly, and sometimes you can trash talk. However, occasionally there's super strong blitz tournaments, and there's more than there used to be because a thing that they're doing now in a lot of Super GM tournaments is instead of drawing lots to see who has what colors and what number and such, they're having a blitz tournament, and they take the order of the blitz tournament. That's your pairing number, which, you want number 1, number 2, number 3, you get more whites. So there's a lot more blitz tournaments than there used to be. Now, in the Grand Chess Tour, there's a lot of rapid and blitz, and players are all 27, 2800. As some of you know, probably most of you, Kasparov is playing in the rapid and blitz in St. Louis in a month, in the middle of in the middle of August. That's a weird thing I do. I call August October a lot. I wonder why I do that. And I got dropped on my head as a kid, but the doctor said I was fine. Maybe he did. Maybe he said I was fine gold, and then he said some other stuff. Okay, anyway, so Naka was winning this game the last 8 or 9 moves. Before that, okay, he was winning and losing and drawing. Okay, and it's a splits game. So at this point, black is incredibly winning. I can't say the numbers the computer gives because they're too high. Okay, so he played rook f5, and now the most winning move is f2 discovered check. And king g1 and king e1 also win. The point of f2 is after you play king g1, play rook h2, and that's it. I'm threatening f1 double check. And I mean, as long as you can mate with a rook, you're good. And then this runs into this. So that's the end of that. So after f2 check, the game would have ended in 2 or 3 moves. King g1 is pretty similar. That also wins. It takes a little bit longer because of rook g5 check, but still wins. Okay, Naka blundered because it's a blitz game. They both have 10 seconds. So, in fact, I think Nakamura had like 4 seconds. Okay, so black played king g2, which is a blunder, and Mamedyarov played king e3, and now it's a draw because in that variation I showed you where black plays f2, the winning move after king e2 is rook h2, and now you can't play rook h2. It doesn't defend your f-pawn. King on g2 is actually badly placed. But you got to move here. If you can't move your king because your f-pawn hangs, rook g3 doesn't make a lot of sense because then the h-pawn can move. Okay, so he played f2 check. Every move draws. It doesn't really matter. And now, basically every legal move draws, including the move Naka played, which he played as a joke, but the joke backfired. Probably shouldn't play joke moves in the Grand Chess Tour when there's huge prizes, but again, when you're playing blitz chess, it's hard to get into super serious mode, especially when it was clear to both players now the game would end in a draw. I think the game ended in their mind already. Now, it's really impressive what Mamedyarov did here. I'm more impressed. Nobody even talked about this, but I'll talk about it. So every move draws. Rook takes h5, f1 equals queen, f1 equals bishop, f1 equals rook. King moves all draw. But he played f1 equals knight. I guess the knight was close by, and he thought that would be funny. And he probably expected rook takes f1, rook takes h5, draw, agreed. And the position still is a draw, although it's better to have white now. And here, I think a lot of people, super grandmasters included, would play rook takes f1 because they obviously wouldn't be expecting their opponent to make a knight, and they already sort of resigned themselves to the game being a draw. I guess resign themselves isn't the right word since white was completely lost, and now he's sort of happy. Okay, and somehow Mamedyarov turned it on. He was like, oh, f1 equals knight. Maybe I can play for a win now. I have a pawn. And he found a really nice move, rook f2 check. And the idea is if king g3, I check, and I take the rook, and I take the knight if I want. It doesn't really matter if I take the knight. h6 wins, but taking the knight, and then I queen my h-pawn. So you can't play king g3. You play king g1. I take with check. And then he did it again. He played rook f2 check when he could play rook f5. Again, king g3 loses to rook f3 check. So he had to play king g1. And this is a drawn position, but obviously you'd rather have white. White's a pawn up. Now, unfortunately, when I showed this game in St. Louis, in my video you might have already seen, I had white at the bottom because white won. And here I have white at the top, and I have black at the bottom because I wanted to show black queening. So try to remember that black is, white is going this way. And if white was going the other way, he's got no winning chances. Okay, rook a3 is a terrible move. It still draws. There's basically no way to win here. Black just moves his king around. And then there's no winning plan because you have to keep your rook on the h-pawn, and your king, the white king can't come closer. Rook a3 draws also, but there's no reason for that. Okay, and then he went back. And again, this is still a draw. And the way to draw here is to just move your king back and forth because black's position is perfect. It's very weird to play king h1, moving away from white's pawn. That doesn't make any sense. But the black rook is in such a perfect place, stopping the h-pawn and stopping the white king, that draws. Okay, but he moved his rook again, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. Still a draw, but not so easy. And again, he has to move his king. He has to play king h2 away from the pawn. And I believe after this move, he's just losing. After rook a4, it's lost. And now rook g1, well, actually what he did is winning. So rook g7, yeah. And now I think king h2 loses, although, let's see. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I still draw. Wow. I looked at this like 2 weeks ago when it happened, but I have a good memory. Well, I don't see how white wins after king h2. So, I mean, king h2, king h3, king h1. I don't see anything. Okay, but he played, again, that definitely loses. And after king here, we're threatening king g5. Now that I think of it, I know that black's lost, but I don't see why rook h5 doesn't draw. If I play rook g1, there's king h2. I don't know. Maybe rook h5 draws and I'm wrong, but I thought this was already winning. Okay, I think this is still a draw. All right, he played king h4, which definitely loses. Now, white could win in one move, but he didn't do it. He can just play rook g1 and then resigns. That's the end of the game. Okay, but he played king f5, which also wins. And yeah, now I can't keep my rook. I'm in Zugzwang now. Black just can't move here. If black moves the rook sideways, white queens. If he goes check, I think he did play check. Yeah, then okay, he lost. And if the king moves to h3, now king g5 wins. So now it's winning. Although rook g1 would have won quicker, but it doesn't matter. And then check, and he resigned here. So even after he promoted to a knight, he had to make about 5 mistakes to still lose. But okay, he had like 4 seconds left. You might be wondering at home if they had 3, 4, 5 seconds, how did they make 10, 15 moves? They had the Bronstein delay, which nobody understands, including Bronstein. So with delay and increment in chess at the top levels in almost every game, it's hard to lose on time now. You can do it, but it was much easier to lose on time when you had 4 seconds and no increment, no delay. Then it was simple. So those were 2 games where Naka under-promoted to a knight. One was brilliant and he won. One he was sort of kidding because he knew the game was over and it was a draw, but things didn't work out. And that was funnier, I guess, except for him. But I was really impressed that Mamedyarov decided to play for a win after he promoted to a knight, because usually when you know the game is going to be a draw, it's hard to change your mind and start playing for a win when your opponent makes a silly move. So, well, those were 2 interesting under promotions. And I'll try to make more videos, but I was I was busy. I'm actually going to Michigan on Sunday for a few days. I might make a video there, though. I probably will. So I'll probably make one tomorrow, although I'm pretty busy tomorrow. Okay, so we got the permit for the chess center. We have to do some construction. And when I say we, I mean, people who do that for a living, not us. And it'll probably take them about a month to get the place ready for us. We have the sets and clocks. We got to buy tables and chairs. And we're going to open September 9th. We're going to have a Blitz tournament. I hope you guys can come. Go to atlchessclub.com to see more stuff that we've put up, membership information. We'll have a tournament calendar up this week. Eventually, probably in the next 10 days, you can join our club online and see all the stuff we put up. We're going to have tournaments and classes almost every day. We'll have something going on, closed on Monday. And go to atlchessclub.com/donate so we can buy tables and chairs. Otherwise, we're going to play on the floor. You don't want to do that. Well, some kids do. But we don't want to do that. So thanks for helping, guys. Follow me on Twitter, CCSCATL, and on Facebook, which I think is CCSCA, but what do I know? And like and subscribe here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everyone.